Oh, I need my
Let's
headset.
let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Back and forth with the bullshit. I know I said it before, I don't mean.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the season review of Hula Talk. Today I'm joined by Brian from TopBin90 and Lee from CLTFC Fan TV, for the fans, by the fans. Damn it. And David, how you fellas doing?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good, man.
Good, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. David, how are you, man?
Your AirPod's connected to my thing.
Oh. Lee, how's your week been, man?
Yeah, it's It's snow, and it was 75 degrees Sunday. It snowed Monday. It was cold as hell up until yesterday, and now it's back up to 70s, man. It's like, welcome. North Carolina's weather is just drunk, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was at the Panthers game on Sunday, and there was a lot of people just taking off their shirts because it felt good. And then the next day, crazy, dude, crazy. North Carolina weather, though, like you said.
That's it, man. No, the week's been well, man. I'm just ready for the weekend.
Wish we had a soccer game.
Man.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, man, the CLTFC season's over when you got Lee talking about the weather and just waiting for a weekend.
Yeah. I mean, there's no football one this week, man. It's all international shit, right?
So, yeah.
So, what do we make of game 3, fellas? Let's just go straight to it. Did we expect to be knocked out this early, or Brian? We start with you, man.
No, man. I mean, I thought once they got a result on the road, any way you can get it, right? Just any way you can get it on the road on that game 2. I figured when they came back home, they would have it. There's just no way I expected New York to be able to take 2 results in Charlotte. I'd say the odds of that were not great. So, props to New York for being able to get that done. But I was thrown off by the way that first half ended, and it really seemed like after that first goal, a little bit of the wind was taken out of their sails going into halftime, and you could see it at the start of the second half as well. Giving up that second, I mean,
early
the crowd, it just seemed like there was no life left after that. Until that Tokomati goal came out of nowhere. But man, going down 2-0 right there was pretty brutal, especially the way they did off of attacking set pieces like that. All those 1v1s, brutal way to go.
It didn't help that they scored right before the half, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I put that on
in the
Dean.
first half. I left. I literally looked up at the clock. It was the 43rd minute. I was like, perfect time to go. There's not going to be a crowd at the bathroom. Go do my thing. I come back, and it's by the time I got back to my seat, it was 2-0. And
your fault,
I was
right?
so shocked. Because they scored that second goal, and I was like, we're down 1-0. Nah, we were down 2-0 at the 50th minute. Dude,
man, you ruined that season, Brian.
Yeah.
I did it. Dude, Tuesday night, I think I watched TopBin90 show. Dude, if you were a betting man, you were betting on Charlotte to win the third game.
100%. Like Brian said, right? You didn't expect New York to come back and hit us 2 times on the bounce, right?
No.
I don't think, watching that 3-game series, Dean, in my opinion, didn't change nothing tactically.
No, and honestly, I think the first goal was one of, for me, Dean's first really big key mistakes. He took a chance there, and going with the long throw, I don't feel like they had done many long throws like that this season. And from the press box, you could see Dean standing there a little bit nervous, and one of his assistants was standing there nervously as well, kind of with him. And it seemed like they knew that was a pretty aggressive play call for the time. Now there was just a minute left in stoppage time, so if you're going to make an aggressive play call, it's probably in that moment. But at the same time, you don't really necessarily need to take that chance. And God, it was just tough.
In some of those great counterattacks, where's the tactical foul? Like,
Yeah, or anything.
Burns, take him out. Ream, take him out.
Take one for the team, right?
Take one for the team. Like Ream, okay, you're gonna get the red card, but we got Privet at least, right?
Yeah, especially for what's on the line, dude. Like how far we've come. We did top 4, like they said, and finally we got a chance to make it past the first round of something, a tournament. You know, give us hope. We're at home where it's a fortress, quote unquote, and then we just get shut down.
It's not so much a fortress anymore, man. You know.
Well, not against New York.
Not against Suarez, not against Montreal.
Yeah, it's losing New England. It's sort of aura.
Yeah.
Now overall, they had the most wins they've ever had at home. I think that's what was so shocking about. And these were New York's first 2 wins ever in Charlotte too. I think it's just more of like just the way Charlotte doesn't show up in these key moments. It's two playoff series. I mean, again, you go and David, you mentioned like they have it at home, right? There's no excuse. Like last year, like, hey, if we had been 4th, we had the 2 home games, we would have the advantage against Orlando in that 3rd game. They had that now, and then they still didn't take advantage of it. So Lee, like you said, I think it's mental. It's just like you've only scored 2 goals in 6 playoff games. Yeah. That's brutal. Like you're never gonna advance.
Right, we had this like mental block that we couldn't win on the road, right? And we sort of at the end of the season, at least, we sort of like got rid of that, right? And again, the playoff game, we can call it a win or whatever, right? But then it's like, do we have that mental block about playoff games now?
It seems like it because we can't get past the first round.
I think it's any tournament, dog. Any tournament that we get into. Like, I feel like the only one we've really had success in was the first year of the Leagues Cup. Other than that, I don't feel like we've actually succeeded or say like, hey, we got a chance. You know what I mean?
We're not even in the Open Cup. Is that like, is it a mental block or it's just like
I think it's a level of maturity that the team hasn't made it to yet. Like, yeah, we can compete in regular season games. That's why we went 9 games undefeated throughout the regular season. But when it was time to really kick it into gear in the playoffs or in a tournament, we just don't find that rhythm, or there's just always that stump that we can't get past.
We're still young.
Yeah, hot, and it's like when you go in against a hot team that's like ready to compete at that level, that's what playoffs are, right? It's a team that's coming in, at least in some kind of form, having some kind of momentum, having clinched a playoff spot. You're going against a team that's going to be motivated, keying in only on you, right? Their only focus is you as an opponent, not the rest of their schedule, everything like that. So I think it's just a different type of competition in terms of what you're focused on. Is one singular focus, that one moment. And the Charlotte just hasn't been able to rise to that occasion.
I mean, we have momentum though. We beat Philly. We were confident.
But that's what I'm saying.
I was so confident. I am 100% on that.
But that's what I'm saying. But I think there's times in the regular season when Charlotte, when you see like the 9-game winning streak or just different situations where they win and go on different runs, it kind of comes in opportune moments against maybe a bad team, a team that's not clicking. Even like when they got that road result against Cincinnati. Cincinnati were not clicking at that time. They hadn't scored in like 3 or 4 home games. And so what my point is, Charlotte seemed to go on these runs during the regular season when they kind of catch other teams that are in bad form for one, and that's a regular season. You're going to catch teams in good form, catch teams in bad form. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the playoffs, you're catching a good team in some kind of form that's motivated and focused on you. I think that's the difference between a regular season and the playoffs. That's what I meant by that. Not that they didn't also have good form. They should have, but they went up against a wall and they just haven't been able to get past that.
And at the end of the day, it was 3rd versus 4th. It was always going to be a tight series, and I think it came down. New York has more, like, I guess, quality. I don't know if you guys agree. Maybe quality, squad depth, and in the bench. I'm not sure.
They were just prepared for it better than we were.
They definitely knew how to ride the wave, man. If they were going to sit back and counter, it worked for them.
Yeah.
That's what it did.
And that's what we should have did, honestly. Like, we try to high press at home, and it bit us in the ass, man. It didn't work out for us. And that's usually what we do. We're the team that sits back a little bit sometimes, and then we get you on the counter, and we're a very good counter-attacking team, but it just didn't seem to happen, dude. Our first shot on target this past game was our only goal. Yeah. Other than that, I think we had like 17 shots that went through that were not on target, bro.
But it's something a lot of right when it's the 80th minute, and that's it. 80th minute, and we're just now getting our first goal and we had 15 shots on target, something's not clicking.
Yeah. And first goal ever in a home playoff game. That had been like 250 minutes of home playoff action or something like that before you score a goal.
Yeah, man.
Dean after the match said Wasaha for the first 20 minutes was unplayable. If unplayable was doing little freaks here and there and back passing, I don't think that's praying lights out. He was not attacking. He never took a shot at goal. I don't know what Dean was talking about, that Saha was lights out the first 20 minutes. All he was doing was little hill passes there, little 1-2s, but other than that, he wasn't creating nothing. What's his name? Nico for New York. He was more dangerous every time he got on the ball.
And he had a brace, right? And so I think that's maybe the difference is the ceiling of these two teams. New York's spending. I mean, Nico was like an $8 million signing for them or something like that. He's like a U22 initiative, but they spent a lot of money on him as a U22 initiative. And I mean, he scores a brace. Charlotte spends $8 million on Abada and he can't even get the field, right? So I think that for me is the difference there is like Charlotte's ceiling just is kind of kept. The floor's been there since pretty much day one, right? You've got like a 40-point floor initially, and now it's kind of built up where Dean has made it seem like it's pretty secure around 50 right now, right? So that's their floor, but it's like, okay, the ceiling is missing, and that's, I think, goes back to any of the playoff appearances, whether it's in MLS or U.S. Open Cup or Leagues Cup. Like you need to have a ceiling to be able to advance in these tournaments. You need to have a key guy who can show up and get you that goal or two that you just need to get past to advance to the next round. And I think that's just where Charlotte is lacking. They don't have that ceiling guy. Zaha, I was expecting, some of that from him in this game. Even Toklomati, I mean, he scored the goal at the end, but like he had a lot of shots that got blocked, really couldn't like engage or create enough. So I don't feel like they have that.
Toklomati kind of went to MIA since the hat trick, in my opinion. Maybe because Saha was missed a couple games, but after that, I mean, he kind of disappeared.
Thiago Martins looked pretty comfortable at center back against Toklomati and all of Charlotte FC. Honestly, New York has a good back line. They have a good back line, and they definitely were able to limit how much Charlotte could do.
And they have a great goalkeeper too, man.
Yep.
And Bronico, man, all 3 games he had 3 scoring opportunities, and he missed all 3, man.
I mean, he hit the bar. You can't blame it on him, man.
No, he had one. He had one that he should have made, which is in game 3. The other one was a crossbar, which you can't. For me, I have a hard time ragging too much on Bronico because he's like he's your 5th attacking option.
Yeah.
And he's playing a position that he's not comfortable in.
100%. Yeah, he's filling a role, and they're like, hey, we don't have BL, we don't have a creator. Can you at least just high press and make some outside off the ball runs for us for 90 minutes? Can you just fill in a role? And Bronico did that just fine. For me, it's the ceiling guys. It's the Zahas. It's the Toklomatis. It's the, Abada not being able to get on the field. It's for me, those kind of 3 players that seem to be, because I would call it Vargas too, but Vargas for me is a floor player. He's able to make the runs, being able to help both ways, but he's not really going to I feel like Vargas isn't a guy who's going to take over a game either, but it's like you have Zaha, Toklomati, maybe he's still young, but like those are kind of the pieces that we're supposed to be able to take the game over.
Y'all better leave the mayor alone, man. Y'all leave the mayor alone, man.
His contract, they're just ragging on him.
I know. I don't understand paid on Bronico, man. That man is a workhorse.
Yeah, for real, man.
I mean, he's played everywhere but in goal.
Pretty much. I can't remember when he got put on left back.
Yeah. Just keep playing him, man. There's got to be something there.
Yeah. I mean, all the coaches like him, so like you said, something has to be there.
Yep.
What you guys make of Dean subs? Just overlooking Petrovic, Williamson, and just putting Archie, another 2 strikers up there. What y'all make of that?
I mean, I don't think you really have much choice, to be honest with you. And there's not much. You turn around, it's like, what are we going to do? We're just going to run it
out. That's the other problem. And I had a kind of a back and forth with Caleb on our show about it, because Caleb was under the impression that maybe subs weren't that important in the playoffs, that you could just run an 11. I was like, man, but New York has 15 or 16 guys they can rotate in. Like, that's just an advantage. Like, you can change how you want to play. Dean had no options. And I think, and we kind of talked about that before, just like the lack of depth this team has going down the stretch. He just ran out of guys he can trust. And it seemed like Dean wasn't really willing to throw the young kids to the wolves in this spot. And he would rather just kind of keep things tight and see if he could get by. with the 12 or 13 guys that he really trusted. But I think he just ran out of guys that he felt he could actually trust in this situation. And you just didn't have any other way to change the game. And I think that was what really killed the game and the momentum off it. Once it's down 2-0, you're like, okay, who are we even going to bring on? Like, who are you even going to bring? It's like Archie Goodwin's like, okay, well, he's brand new. He's been here for like 8 games. It's like, okay, but is that really going to game change when you're down 2 goals? And he ended up getting the assist, but still, it's just tough.
At that point, you're trying to attack. I mean, that's the thing, though. Once Charlotte goes down, man, I don't have enough confidence that we're ever going to turn it around.
They don't have the depth. They don't have the depth right now. And for me, that's on Zorn and how the summer window went. If you look at some of the other teams top of the East, Cincinnati signed Brenner back. They got another striker who scored a brace against Columbus and advanced them past them in game 3 at home, right? Kind of the exact scenario you're looking for in Charlotte. Charlotte just didn't find that guy in the summer. LAFC got Son, right? Just a lot of moves got made in the summer to kind of put their team to the next level. And Charlotte didn't sign Biel to his DP deal yet. And then brought Bai Koulibaly up, who's gotten like 30 minutes. And so it's like that was their summer moves. Besides, well, I guess Harry Toffolo as well. So they got a left back on the roster again. And it seemed like they're at least a piece or two behind in terms of just transfer windows to actually take that next level up where you want to be on the table compared to the other teams at the top.
I mean, talking about that though, right? I mean, the documentary that came out on Apple when they sort of cover Charlotte, right? They showed Zora and negotiating and saying, but it's like, it's like to me, it seems like we only have one person we're really focusing on, and then when that falls through, it's just scrounging around to try to figure out who's next. We don't have like a ABCD sort of list, right? It's just it was at that point. It's like, oh shit, well he's willing to come. Let's go ahead and get him.
Yeah, it just doesn't Tad and O'Brien was saying it's like. I don't know if Dean has like his starting 11, his 3 subs, and then 2 guys that might get on the field. Like we don't know. Like I don't know. Like I've never really watched Dean's teams to like know if he's just one of those guys that are just gonna like have a set 11, and then if he needs to make changes, make changes. But I mean, definitely need to have some quality on that bench.
If we had been up, if the table had been flipped, he would have had plenty of options to lock it down, right? But like Brian was into, right? It's the opposite. What are you going to do? Who are you going to bring on, right? The only thing to do was to bring on, what's the Australian fella's name? But bring him on, right? And Archie. And I mean, that was about it. That's about all he could really do, man.
Yeah. The people were wanting Cambridge off the bench. They say he does good stuff off the bench.
But then you take off Zaha, you take off, who do you, I had, one of our guys was like, what about like Diani for Cambridge? I was like, man, that's just kind of a crazy situation. I mean, you just run out of situations. I mean, I think you just run out of options.
At that point, you just want to get embarrassed, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
And in the end, we still ended up getting scored on.
Yeah.
So I mean, that could have happened anyway.
So looking ahead to next year, how would you go if you're Zoran? How do you go about fixing the squad depth and recruiting? Like, what are the needs that we need to next year?
I don't know. We need to get younger.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we need somebody that's probably can come in and take over Westwood's spot.
I think that's Koulibaly, right? That's who they hope could do that job.
Who's that?
Koulibaly.
Koulibaly. But he's just so young too. He's like 20. So here's the thing. You have on your starting 11, you've got like 6 or 7 guys that are over 30. And then everybody else is like 22 or younger. So you've got like this huge disparity of the teams being too old and also too young simultaneously. Because like if you look at the bench, that's why like nobody was called up because they're like, well, you got Tiger who's just out of college. You've got Brandon Cambridge who's just 2 years out of like college and still developing. So you've just got a lot of young prospect project players and then a bunch of like seasoned veterans, and you just don't have anybody in their prime. You just don't have, I don't think.
At what point do you start trusting on these guys to either step up or ship them out?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's definitely going to be on the line for 2026. I think Cambridge is one guy who's got to. I mean, he's now been here for a few years, so it's like whether or not he actually can take that next step. I think Petkovic as well. I mean, I think that he's had the lens on him pretty strong at this point. He's a $3 million signing, so he's definitely got to really step up or get out, one of those two. So, but I still think even then, even if you have a young guy step up, you still need some guys in their prime that just have been there and done that. You just need a little bit more experience, but not like 37-year-old experience. You need hit a bounce. You need something closer to BL.
Be from Hardee's after the game.
Yeah.
So if you had the chance to sign Zimmerman, do you pass on him?
Yeah, I pass on him.
Yeah, I would. But the other free agent that was announced is Espinoza, and that is a player I would absolutely look at. In 2023, he was like my favorite player to watch of like that season. He's a phenomenal distributor of the ball on that right-hand side.
That means we got to get rid of Obata first.
Yeah, 100%. But you got to be. They should be willing to cut their losses and cut him at this point.
We can buy out the contract, right?
Huh?
I said we can buy out his contract, right? Next
Yeah,
season?
yeah. You have it's a new season, so you have a new buyout. I even think they still technically had a buyout this last year because they upped it, I think, to 2 from 1, and so I think they only used 1 for Doumbia, and I don't think they used it for anybody else. So I think they technically could have done it last year if they wanted, but I'm imagining they're looking for money if they can get it.
So, do you guys think Abada's gone, or he gets preseason? Because like my brother was saying earlier, like I think the other day he said Abada's one of those guys. If he gets picked up by any other MLS team, he could shot like it would surprise the hell out of us. And I'm like, do you give him another season or do you just let him go?
I mean, there's always that sort of, we always bitch, right? Why aren't you hitting the ground running? Why aren't you playing? All right, we'll give him like 6 months. I mean, he's been here for a full season and a half, almost 2 seasons. It's like
March, yeah.
You're not cutting it. Not for $8 million, you're not.
And just the fact that it was a playoff run that you couldn't even make the field. It's like, that's brutal.
Sad.
That's brutal. That it shows that he is falling completely out of favor with Dean.
Yeah, and Dean gave him plenty of warnings throughout the season. Like, you need to step up. He didn't travel against Atlanta, and he was healthy. He didn't make the squad. There were several times where he was getting those wake up calls, like, you need to step it up, or you're not going to be here.
So our friend over in Scotland, Rogue Monkey, he helps us out with some of our graphics, right? He mentioned he's a Celtic fan. He said, like, when Abada got signed, he's like, he's a good player when he wants to be, but like most of the time he goes missing. And it's like, you're fitting well here in the MLS, blah blah blah. But here we are, right, talking about how we get rid of him.
Yeah, because going back to game 1 where he started because Saha was out, that was not a player with confidence. No. The reason they scored is because it was he tried to lay off a shitty pass to Bronico and the hit was on the counter.
Yeah.
That was he couldn't deal with the physicality. At least Saha can like run with you, body you off the ball, but Abada did not look confident at all in game 1. Like he didn't have no swagger. Like he couldn't. His pace used to be his strongest thing, but fullbacks are fast as hell in the MLS. He couldn't get it done against New York.
No, and it just looked like his processing speed wasn't there. He just looked like every time he got the ball, he just was like a deer in headlights, didn't know what to do with it. He's just like, yo. And it just looked like he was so far behind the pace and made his touch off. That was really hard to watch. Game 1 of his performance was really, really hard to watch.
Yeah. And everything could have been a clean slate if he would have had a crazy game 1.
100%.
It could have made it up for it, but I think he did it to himself.
I mean, Vargas stepped up and knocked him out of his position, right? Knocked him off his perch.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same with Williamson. Like Williamson had a great moment to change the trajectory of his career, either in Charlotte or just in general with that DC start. Like he had an opportunity against a 9-man DC and like still really couldn't make an impact. So it's like some of these situations, you have an opportunity when things aren't going your way to like kind of change, just change the outlook on how your season or just your future progresses. And just when you can't get it done like that, it's really hard to convince either Dean or just, anyone. Like you have an opportunity to fix things and you just can't get it done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think this year though, coming up is, again, Zoran is obviously going to do what he does, but like, this is Dean's team now. Right. And I feel like Dean will have enough impact, been here long enough conversations with Zoran. So like if next season goes south, at what point do you start questioning Gaffer?
Yeah. Said that, what do you make of his first full season in charge, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, dude, we finished fourth, man, right? They said at the beginning of the season our goal was fourth, and we did it, and now Westwood, I believe, came out and actually said we're going to win the whole league next year, right? And so, I mean, that'd be something to say. I don't know if he just said that off the cuff just because of, the situation with the playoffs, but I mean, we finished fourth. I think we had I would have taken that, right? At the beginning of the season, finished fourth. I'll take it. And so you can't be too mad at Dean. I mean, I'm not even worried about Dean at this point. I think once he can just get his players in, and again, going back to what we talked about earlier, there's just no depth in this team. Now, if we can get the depth, maybe again, Shutafabada, right? Replace that, and then get some depth that somebody that can come in and change the game, or at least help out more than what we've got, right?
Yeah. And we need to be able to hold on to like Tokromate Himan being another season or two with Charlotte.
Yeah,
Vargas, I think he was getting looked at by teams from Portugal. Like,
yeah,
it's gonna be like the next 2 years are gonna I think it's gonna be hit or miss because we'll be like getting attached to Tokromate. There he goes again.
Well, I mean, that's the MLS for you, though, too, right? I mean, that's why I think the Pro Next is crucial for us, so we can have that next player that's going to step in, right? And so, yeah.
What do you think is Dean's telling Zoran that that's the guy I need, or not a name, but like the position?
I'd say something, again, I said earlier, like 6 or an 8.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I would be looking at. I'd put that as our main priority over anything else, really. I mean, we got Pep, right? And we got Zaha. Vargas, if he's like he did this season, I'd be okay with him.
Yeah.
Brian, do you think we switch to 3 DPs and 2 young DPs, or do we keep the same structure that we have right now?
I mean, I think they should definitely go to 3 DPs. I think that's pretty much the winning formula for most of the top teams, is to have as much of your resources utilized in that direction. 4 U22 initiative spots really just generally isn't going to give you a consistent 4 starters out of that role, but you can get 3 locked in starters with at that DP level. I think it's super important. All the best teams seem to be doing that, whether it was LA Galaxy 2 years ago when they won MLS Cup. This season, it looks like LAFC, actually, I don't think LAFC has 3 DPs, but they have the club record signing in Sonny. And so, having those kind of players is really, I think, key to making a deep run. So I would go 3 DPs, and I would put a DP spot on a 6 or an 8, like what Lee is saying. I've been really, there was times when people were like, we need a DP 9 and a DP this. I was like, man, lock in another midfielder. You really can't have too many, and especially when the midfield has been so just inept at being able to control games. It's not what Bronico's strength is. Diani, his ceiling seems to be at times like he can be really, really solid defensively and in possession of the ball. But there's times, man, when I see Diani play, and I'm like, bro, what is happening right now? And so there are some highs to his game that he can be. I mean, there's some special moments, and his length and size and his ability to Dean talks about it all the time, like his reach, his ability to find a way to get a toe on the ball is impressive. But there's just times when I just don't feel like it's all clicking, and his inconsistency for me is a concern. And then on top of it, Westwood is, again, he's going to be 36. How long can he mentally stay in the game because while he mentioned going top of the table, he also mentioned his kids. He's clearly also got his head kind of
back issues.
What?
He has back issues.
Yeah, that's what he mentioned, right? And that's just only going to continue. So it's just it's just an aging thing, right? At some point, you kind of have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Your time is coming. And I just think you got to get younger at that position and get a guy who's just really capable of taking the reins. And I think a DP in that 6, 8, 10 role, just kind of ability to, switch between all of those positions is key.
What's really going to be interesting is seeing, next season without Malanda.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting because, Ream's getting old too, right? Privic obviously is probably going to be the one that steps in for Malanda, right? I would imagine, unless we get somebody. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much we're going to miss him.
Yeah, for real, man.
What happened to Privet? Was it an injury that put him on the bench? Because I remember in the beginning of the season, he was starting. Dean was talking about a couple games away from being called to the national team. What happened there? It's just Reed came back or something?
I think he got hurt, and then we got, there was no need to play Tim on the left, right? Because we got Tuffalo in or whatever, and then Byrne came back, right? So that was the back line, right? And so that's my opinion. I think Privet just sort of was not good enough to get into the starting 11.
Yeah.
How big of a tactical change it would have helped us if we would have switched Ream with Privet in these final matches against New York City? Because there was moments where, like, if you get a good touch past Ream and you're gone, you're gone. He's not going to catch you.
We saw that.
You know what I mean? So, like, how big of a difference do you think it would have been if we would have had Privet in the back line compared to Ream?
I don't know, man, because if you look at game 2, Ream had a great game, right? And then 3 just fucking...
Thought about that recovery time.
Yeah. I think it's just more the tactical strat. Just the fact that they were playing higher, playing more aggressive in game 2 and 3, and made the defensive line have to chase shadows a lot. And so, like, I feel like whether it's Privet, whether it's Ream, those guys were kind of having to chase 1v1 a decent amount. Maybe Privet's a little bit more, obviously younger, a little bit more, physically capable of handling that role for longer. But I feel like at some point, when you put a defender in that situation over and over and over again, eventually you're just going to get beat. It's just not an ideal spot to be in, no matter who you are. Because Malanda was getting beat too. Byrne was getting beat. Toffler. It's just at some point when you're 1v1, if you keep going 1v1 where a defender has to, you're running backwards. And so eventually you're just going to get beat by the guy who's running forwards. It's just physics.
Yeah. Fair enough. I know it's not popular, I think we broke up the Malanda brothership. I was sad.
If Sokromati gets hurt, who's the other striker on the team?
Archie.
Oh, yeah, true. I wasn't thinking Archie.
I still think they could use a veteran. Now, that's where I think they could get older and get a veteran guy. Just another, there's like a Willie Agata is a free agent right now. He's like, he's not that much. He's like 26, 27, but just another veteran experienced guy who's been in MLS for a while. I think would be ideal to just have in that striker position, just to kind of have a change of pace, a veteran guy, a guy who's maybe, put a few goals in the net in MLS, I think would be helpful.
I would have been fine with that guy that we got a link to during the summer from Cruz Azul. He played in Atlanta, the Greek guy.
Giacomakis?
Yeah, like veteran striker. Like there was a lot of games where we needed somebody that could go find a goal. And
well, that's a valid point that you bring up, man. Bam, right? It's we don't really have many players that have like grown in the MLS, right? In the MLS. And
they don't build that way.
Yeah, and it's like some of these teams that are doing better have that core set of players that have always been MLS players, right? And how much of a sort of hindrance, if you will, or how much is it? Go ahead, you know what I'm asking.
No. You talk about it kind of gives them a built-in excuse where they're like, well, Zaha needs time to adapt and this and that. It's like, okay, well, like Gazdag in Columbus, for example, they're already like, we're done with them. It's been 6 months. He's an MLS veteran. He's not doing it here. Like we're done.
Yeah.
And so, whereas like Jack McGlynn goes to Houston, is crushing it in Houston from Philly, young cash for player. Joveljic from LA Galaxy to SKC, another example, interleague cash for move, and he's like, just crushing it with SKC. They're obviously not playing super great, but as a striker, like he filled that role and just is able to dominate on a bad team. So I think that new rule of having the cash for being able to actually use that transfer money that they're clearly willing to spend on Abada, these Swiderski, other guys, if you can spend 4, 5, 6 million on DP interleague transfer. I think that's a I think that's the direction they should really go this year, because you're in win now. Like we talked about all the veteran guys, there's 6, 7 guys over 30. Within the next year, by the end of 2026, this team could look very different. Ream is likely on his last season. Westwood could be on his last season. A lot of these guys could be on their last season, at the very least being a regular starter. And so if you have the need to switch 4, 5, 6 starting positions after this year, you got to win now.
Yeah.
And I think having a guy who you don't need that 2-year adjustment period. You don't need an Abada who's going to take 2 years to figure it out. You need a guy who can figure it out in February. And
true.
so I think that's where you really need to find a guy who can kind of step up now, and finding within the league a guy who's already used to the travel, used to the weather, used to all this and that. You don't have to give him a bunch of excuses. You expect him to come in and hit the ground running.
Except for 2027 when they shift up the calendar.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, what do you guys make of that?
I was all for it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they did that.
Yeah, I think it'll work out great in the long run.
Yeah.
Well, I like the idea that they also said, right, there won't be no more than 3 games away, you know, on the trot, that sort of thing for teams, I guess, like in Minnesota, New England, and those areas. But again, I mean, most of Europe plays throughout the winter, and they handle it just fine. So, you know,
Is
We'll
that
probably
just,
get more
2027? Is that just a test run, or it's going to be permanent?
but
Permanent.
Yeah, that's permanent. That's a shift change, boy.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
does that
used to
do
it.
to, like, mainly us, since we use a football stadium? Does that kind of
it just puts the groundsman to work more.
Yeah.
You'd be like, damn, I wish it was the summer.
that's tough though, because they hate having games Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yeah,
we'll be colder, man. We'll be colder at games instead of hot. We'll be cold.
For that though, man, I would much rather have a hoodie on than just standing out there just cooking.
That's true.
You know, and we can. Oh man, the tailgating be a lot better too. We got some fire pits, man.
Yeah.
True.
Marshmallows. Damn.
Yeah, but I want to
the
touch
transfer
on.
window is going to help us a lot, right?
What's
Hell
that?
yeah, that's
With
true.
the transfer window is going to help us.
Yep.
Yep. It's just to align with most of the world, right? World sort of schedule.
Yeah.
You know, I
It
guess
just makes more sense, like how you said, with other like markets for like the transfer market with other leagues. It just makes more sense.
it's everybody's bitching about their like, oh, we can't compete with NFL, blah blah blah. I was like, I don't think that's really going to affect anything.
Well, and
No,
it's not
after
even
the World
it's not
Cup, man, I think soccer is going to be one of the like top 3 sports in the U.S.
Well, and it's not about the regular season in that circumstance, right? It's you're gonna have to have soccer games during the football season at some point. Do you want it to be now when it's like your playoffs and your championship, when it's like the most important games of your season, when you can really draw in new casual fans? Or do you want it to be during the beginning of the season when nobody's really paying it, right? The casuals aren't paying attention as much anyways. So what I would say the shift gives you a situation where now you have the playoffs in May and the championship, right? The cup final will be at the end of May, early June. There's nothing really else going on. It's a completely open sports schedule. You got baseball, but nobody's paying attention to baseball in May and June. So you've got a wide open schedule at that point. Whereas the final last year, I think, was during the SEC like championship game.
Yeah.
And so like everybody was right. So I mean, you just got to pick and choose which games do you want to be competing with the NFL. And I would rather have weeks 1 through 10 versus final. And so I think that's really, for me, also what it comes down to. You're going to win a lot more casuals if you have them paying attention, because it's the only championship in town during the month of May.
The only thing I'm not sure if I like is the league structure change.
The divisions.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be a fan of that.
Yeah, that's the English in you.
Yeah, that's
The U.S. When the change happens, the U.S. Open Cup and the Leagues Cup, does that get will be in the middle of the summer, or that'll be in the winter too?
I'm hoping that this is my dream. You have Leagues Cup. You just have a big event in like Florida or Cali. You get all the Mexican teams there. You get all the MLS teams that qualify for it. And you just have like a 36 team like extravaganza in like Fort Lauderdale and Miami. And everybody just goes down there and parties for like a month.
traffic would be terrible, man.
Yeah, but it would be lit.
I just want the Leagues Cup to be a preseason tournament.
No, I don't understand why they just don't sprinkle it in during the regular season.
Because you got to sprinkle in the U.S. Open Cup and all the other. I mean,
They do that, right? I mean, they do it elsewhere.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's nothing like going to a cup game on a Wednesday or having like, all right, we're going to pause for a weekend to have a game and then just let it go on, right? You don't have to like run a whole tournament in 4 weeks.
But I think the issue with that is, so in the U.S. Open Cup, you can kind of keep things regionally for like the earlier rounds, and then it only gets really more intense with the travel as the rounds get later. But even then, pretty much down to the semifinal, the final, you're kind of staying east or west at the very least. League Cup, you got Mexico, dude. You got to bring a team up midweek every other week from Mexico. That's brutal because like,
man,
wow.
pot win, and then you just pick the next player, right? That just pot luck, man.
I mean,
we
look,
could be in Seattle next week. We could be in New York, England. We could be down in San Diego.
yeah.
Just pot luck.
Does that open like 2027? Does that also open the door for regulation, like team like from the USL coming up to the MLS, or nah? We'll never see that.
That's never gonna happen.
No, that would be changing like the MLS structure and everything.
USL actually pull through with this, man. It could suck some fans away.
You think pro rel with the USL's pro rel that they've got? When do you know? I can't remember what year that's happening. That's supposed to be happening in the next couple of years too, right?
2 years, I think.
Okay. I mean, it's just and I had a conversation with somebody about this recently. It's just that the USL they're not in the big markets. Like, it's one thing to be like, even if you have some relevance in like, they're just in all the second tier markets. They're in like the Sacramentos and like different spots in like New Mexico and like,
or what? What's that team?
It competes against LA and New York.
Raleigh.
Yeah, Raleigh. Right.
What's up with that? Do you know anything, Brian? Like, why are they folding? Like, they just
fold, right?
I mean, they're hedging their bets, right? I think they're just a matter of like, we don't really. I mean, it's a structure change, and I'm sure some of these owners are like, we've invested X amount of money. We're concerned about investing X amount of money more. A big part of it is, I think, once they're adding pro rel, they're also putting some requirements, which is, I think this is commonly. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but in the Premier League, when you have different levels, you're supposed to have different infrastructure in place, whether it's like stadium size and things like that. And so a lot of these clubs in USL level, they didn't have any of these structures in place. So they just kind of, some of these, I mean, Charlotte Stadium, like the Charlotte Independence Stadium is like what, 4,000 people or something like that, like Memorial. It's not a big place. And so, and it's the same with the spot in Cary. They're like 4,000 or 5,000. And so if you're supposed to start in Division One, I think it's supposed to be a 10 or 15,000. Now, some of these spots are pushing for it, like Louisville. Louisville's a great example. They have like a 10 or 15, their stadium's dope. And so like, if you have a spot like that where you're built for infrastructure for the Division One of that pro rel, you're going to be set and you've already made the investment. But some of these owners that would be eyeing that higher division to start, they don't have the investment in place. And I think that a lot of these guys are on the fence about how much actual commitment you have to put in up front to actually make this happen. And I think that's honestly just a question they're all going to have to answer down the road. I mean, I think if they're actually going to make this work, you got to have a distinct difference between the divisions. So you need to have that. You need to be like, hey, if you're in the top league, you've invested in 10, 15, 20,000 seat stadiums. And so you can clearly see a difference. If they're all playing in high school stadiums, it's like, okay, what's the difference between level 1 and level 3? You got to have a difference. And so
that's true.
What's the minimum, like, if you're an MLS team that your stadium has to hold? About 20,000?
I don't know what the minimum is for MLS. I'd imagine it's probably something like that.
That's the minimum. I mean, at one point there was like, hey, if you want to be in the MLS, you have to have a soccer specific. Here we are.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, I would imagine around 20,000 or so, right? I mean, it would be stupid not to build something that big anyways.
Yeah, that's true. Especially for like a pro team.
Pro.
What do you think we do for preseason now, since we don't have, like, I think the last 2 years we played them, right? Like North Carolina FC. We just go back to playing the Battery.
Yeah, the Battery, Greenville.
Well, they're going out to Coachella, right? I mean, they're going to Coachella again. So, which I think that's another thing I really like. I hope they keep that up, even with the schedule change. They keep going to Coachella. I think having a big like preseason place like that is really fun. Me growing up as a baseball fan, having like a trip as a family to go to like spring training for like a week or two and just seeing like 10, 15, 20 different teams it's a fun experience. So I really hope they keep pushing that. I think it's a great way to bring in more fans in a more casual environment.
Yeah. And I mean, is it second year, right? They do Coachella?
Mm-hmm. Second or third.
But they start broadcasting it though.
That's why
they always do.
Yeah, it's always YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah. But last year was the first year they did it on YouTube. I think the first year they didn't broadcast it at all.
I think they did. It was, I mean, I wouldn't say that the coverage was very good, but it was there, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did it. Because they had also the first year they had it on YouTube too. Because there's all those comments about like cup of tea
Cup
That
of
was
tea.
when all the,
Petty.
yeah.
Who?
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot all about that. That's
Jeez.
crazy, man.
It seems like we've been in this league for years.
Yeah.
It's only been what, 4?
Yeah.
We're going
It's
into our
starting-
fifth
it's
year,
starting to
right?
add up.
Yeah, man.
Well, it's technically 4 seasons, 3 years total. Right? Because we started in 2022. It's
Fair.
2025.
23, 24, 24 seasons going into our fifth year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you said 5 years. It's technically 3 years and 4 seasons. So kind of like
And I graduated from North Meck, so you got.
we're going on to our 4th year, technically. But
So we've learned how to walk now. We need to learn how to run.
we need to learn how to score goals.
That was for Bam and his little ones.
Yeah.
What overall letter grade do you give this season? If you had to put a letter grade on this season,
I give it a B plus.
B plus.
I agree.
I mean,
was
again,
gonna say
right?
B.
I mean, it's
Solid B.
we said we was going to get. We did enough, right, to pass the grade, right?
Yeah.
With the 4th spot. It's just then we took our SATs and failed.
Yeah. I think my one qualm, and I think why I maybe would push it to a B, is that I think there are a lot more questions about this team going into the offseason than I think I'd want to from a team that finished and hit its goals. I feel like there's some serious, like there's just more questions that I'd want than I want. You have to replace Malanda. You've got to get younger. You've got to get at least another attacker. You've got to get some more depth. You've probably got to solve a mid. There's what this season has provided is that there's actually a decent amount of question marks on this team that I didn't think there were going into this season.
And they need to do something to revamp the Crown Legacy, because after they took all those Ajime, Yuri, Cambridge, it's like they milked all the talent out of that Legacy, because Legacy had a fall from grace. They used to be a good team.
Yeah.
But I think they're just an average MLS pro team.
Yeah.
There's nobody that, oh my God, that guy's coming up.
Yeah.
Nope.
But like what Greg just says there, man, if it weren't for Kalina, man, it could be a different show, man.
Yeah.
Because when he was lacking, right? We were lacking as a team.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think, and that's the same issue they had at the end of 2024, right? He had to be goalkeeper of the year to get them into 5th. And so I think you have the same answers. Like it's kind of the same team, and then you just have a few more questions, I think, to solve now, because again, the team's a year older. It seems a lot more pressure, huh?
It's clearer the spots that we need to. Like last year was kind of gray and muddy and murky, right?
Really? Yeah.
But I think so. But I think now it's clearer which spots we need to upgrade on, right?
Maybe, but there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of them, man. There's like 4 or 5. You gotta.
That, but I'm just clearer what we need to upgrade.
It's like.
So do you think Kalina's starting job is fully intact, or you think Calendar has something to say about that?
I think Calendar's going to push him. I don't know if it would be good enough to push him out, but it's good for competition, I think.
Yeah.
Always good for competition.
I think it was just a signal to be like, hey, like May was not good enough. And it doesn't matter if you're goalkeeper of the year in 2024. It's what have you done for me lately? And like, this is potentially affecting our ability to hit our targets. I think it's just as simple as that. And they had an opportunity to nab a guy from Miami that they didn't want. And they had an opportunity to keep Calendar from going to another team to help improve that team as well. So I think it was just kind of, and they had the extra cam. You saw on the roster release, they have they're flush in cash right now because of the Ajimon transfer, and then there should be even more flush after the Malanda transfer goes. So I mean, this team is going to have a ton of outlets. So there might be some figures where they're like, dude, they just spent $1 million GAM on what? And they'll be like, and the guy, just because they can do it, and
how much
so
money is Charlie sitting on right now, Brian? Do you know?
1.7 was what they released in September, but if I have my numbers right in terms of what Malanda's deal should, I mean, I think they can max out at $3 million from transfers, and so the Malanda deal would lock them in to have as much access as 3 more on top of that. Plus, you just get GAM to start the year, which is a couple. So like they could have 7 or 8 million in allocation money, and that's not including the targeted allocation money, which is a whole separate category. So they're flush in cash. They should be flush to be able to make whatever moves they want to make this offseason, whether it's just bringing in some TAM level players, some high level players. So I think they should have plenty of money to work with.
Hell yeah.
Got that solo. I need a solo, man. That should go my house, Hoodie Franco.
I scored 40 goals this season. That's insane considering that Messi himself has 29. Damn.
Yeah, but what about Sonny? How many Sonny guys? Yeah.
Who would y'all say is y'all's MVP player of the season?
MVP.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. That's a tough one to pick, right? We'll start with you, Brian. You seem more confident about your choice.
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, you are like,
Yeah, I know. I was like, I don't know. Was that the face I was giving? I don't know.
I guess you got to give it to Malanda, right? He was consistently starting, and it's not like he really had a dip in form. He was just like, I guess the team was the one that wasn't performing, but I think Malanda was the most consistent. I would say Kalina, but at one point, I think he was negative 14s, like negative 14.1 shots prevented. Like he was down bad at one point.
Yeah.
But
and
also his mental strength to like flip it around and be the reason we made it to game 3. So, I mean, I'll give it to Malanda. I think that's what the players voted when they had their prayer gala, right? They gave him the player of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would go
Not Abada.
Zaha or I mean, I think even though he was out for the final stretch, I mean, Pep Biel was pretty crucial to this team for a large portion of the season. And since we're pretty much scratching out the playoff run as not just not being a good result, I think if they had advanced and Zaha had scored a goal or two, I think he becomes player of the year. But
True.
the regular season for me, Pep Biel was a bigger factor through a longer stretch than Zaha. Zaha came on towards the end. I don't know. I think it's between those two, but I think I would still lean Pep Biel. I think even maybe is an extra advantage to Pep. You go into the playoffs and it seems like the team would really missed him. Like just not having that facilitator, a guy who kind of pinged that final pass.
Especially right before he got hurt too. You know,
What?
you could just, I said right before he got hurt, you could see how good he was. He was linking up with Vargas and all those, man. It's just,
I mean, the MLS pundit people were calling it like his signature, like he would turn and like the ball over top, the Pep pass, they were like, he had like his move, like they were, it's just, it'd be good to have him in a healthy Pep BL next season because when we lost him, it was definitely the worst time of the season.
Yeah. And I just think it's like certain times who your most valuable player is when they're not there. It's like Ricky Puig and LA Galaxy. You go from an MVP, like MLS Cup winning team to like wooden spoon contender with one guy. And so I think there's just certain players that you just aren't going to be able to live without. And I think for Charlotte, it might be Pep Biel.
Yeah. For real, man.
Unsung hero of the team.
Yeah.
Unsung hero.
Burn.
Yeah, Burn.
All I know is we lost about 5 or 6 games while he was out. He came back and we started winning. Just going to throw that out there.
I agree with Burns.
Yeah. Burns a good one too. Burns a good shot. He does not get enough love out of anybody in Charlotte. And this was the first season he had less than like 25 appearances in a year since like 2012. That dude is a machine.
He would have been fine if he got hurt.
Huh?
That's true. That neck injury.
Yeah, if he didn't have to get that neck surgery or whatever he had done.
Yep.
Yeah, Burn is the unsung hero, man.
Yeah.
People be hating on him from that Nashville game back in the day.
Flop of the season.
What is it?
Flop of the season.
That one's easy.
one.
Abada.
Flop of the season?
Yeah.
Did you say flop of the season?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Abada carried over the flop from the previous season. You know, he just double flop.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, like, yeah, he had a shitty season, and okay, everybody's giving praise to Vargas, but Abada was coming off the bench and got 5 goals. Vargas was starting and stuff, and I think he ended up with 7 goals.
Look at you pulling out some stats, man. I hear you. Go ahead, Brad.
The Charlotte FC app.
You foolish, bro.
Other than Abada, though, who would you pick?
Uh,
Abada's too easy to pick on, man.
Petrovic, every time he came on, Williamson, like
Yeah.
they couldn't break down 9 people
yeah.
in DC. We're lucky we didn't lose that game, to be honest.
Yeah. I would.
'Cause I think it was like the first or second minute they hit post. If that shot goes in DC, we're cooked.
That's true.
I mean, I think you could throw Privet in there too, just because it sucks. And I think Privet's a fan favorite. But I mean, he went from being everyday starter to not having a job at this
That's
point. I mean,
fair.
obviously,
He
yeah,
got replaced Americans captain, man. Like, come on.
yeah.
You know,
I'm just trying to throw all the names in the hat. That's all I'm doing.
Privet, man. I got you, Privet. Don't you worry.
I'd probably pick Williamson, dude, because I feel like these are one of the signings that we were like, hey, this is a guy coming from an MLS squad to another MLS squad. He's gonna bring that
Toloma
skill, that knowledge of the MLS, but we never saw much from Williamson, dude.
No, and
very underwhelming.
Me and Lee are talking about needing a 6 or an 8 as like the move to make, and the reason for that, Williamson is a big part of the reason that they don't have that extra guy.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Would we keep him or do we get rid of him?
Oh, he's gone. We wish him well in his future endeavors. He can sell his house. He's gone. Get him out.
He was renting.
Oh my goodness.
I think he lives on what's his name, Greg Fanwick. I think he lives in his neighborhood. Go ahead and put that for sale sign out there, Greg.
Do him a favor.
So we'll help him.
What's another one?
Most
improved this season.
Vargas
for sure.
Bronico, maybe.
Bronico's just a workhorse, man.
Yeah, I feel like Bronico's consistently, like, I wouldn't say good, but like you will consistently get work out of Bronico, and that's like, what more could you ask for? You know what I mean?
I'm saying
one of those guys.
Though Takamati, man, that might be.
I was gonna say Takamati. I mean, you go from. I mean, he didn't have any minutes in 2024 to double-digit goals.
I mean, he's
number 3 on the 22 under 22 list. I mean, he definitely popped.
He took his opportunity, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Obviously, faltered a little bit towards the end of the season and in the playoffs. I think he's still got some learning to do to figure out, hey, what happens when I might need to step up and be the guy who's clutch. And I think that's going to decide, is he a floor raiser or is he a ceiling raiser? And I think that's what 2026 is about.
Having hard next season help with that, I think.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I know. I hearing that, I would definitely give it to Tokolomati, because that just gives me like flashbacks of like the very first few games. Like, for example, the Inter Miami game, dude, where we had a chance. They were down a man. And Tokolomati hit the post on a clear chance, dude, on a sitter, dude. You know what I mean? And then he just turns it around completely throughout the season. But then you said there was that little dip.
The season could have gone south once Pat left, man.
That's true.
A whole nother it could have been terrible.
Yeah. What does success look like in 2026 for us?
A first round playoff win.
Top 4 and bust, right? Top 4 or bust.
Yeah, I mean, I think top 4 for sure, and then we need to win that first series.
Oh, yeah.
Brian, what do you think? What's success look like for Charlotte in 2026?
I mean, they gotta advance. They gotta advance through at least a round. I mean, that's really what it comes to. It's not even about seed at this point. It's like, hey, get a good run in a tournament and push for a trophy. If Minnesota wins the MLS Cup, I'm pretty sure Charlotte's the only team without a trophy in all of MLS. And so they've got to be pushing for a trophy. I don't even think seed is most important.
Does San Diego win anything? Does San Diego win anything?
No, but they've qualified for Champions Cup. I'm sorry. So I'll add a caveat there. So it's trophy or qualified for Champions Cup. My bad, because Austin and St. Louis haven't won either, but they've qualified for Champions Cup. And so the fact that Charlotte haven't been able to qualify for Champions Cup or win a trophy, I think they have to really push for that next level of adding adding continental competition or a trophy in the trophy case. So I think those are the two. You got to get one of those. If you're not going to get a trophy, you got to qualify for CONCACAF.
Yeah.
What's been the difference of those expansion teams to us?
3 different managers,
Sporting managers.
Yeah.
Just better markets, right? They can attract better players.
Well, St. Louis had one good year. I mean, they haven't been a good team, but they had a really, really good start. I think the way they started was really strong. San Diego is going to be a good program. That's a good team. They have a really good sporting director who's crushed it this year.
Their academy is amazing.
Yeah, right. And they have a lot of facilities, and I think they invested in a lot of the right things the right way. And they're in a good market. Like being in the like Southern California is a great place to find good young players too. So their academy is going to be good, just like the LAFC and LA Galaxy academies are. So they've recruited. I mean, the Anders Dreyer signing is one of the best signings in MLS history. I mean, to come in your first year, we talk about Zaha needing time and all this stuff, and like Anders Dreyer had like 35 goal contributions and is still crushing it, and like would have won MVP in year one for any other season without Messi. So it's like an incredible signing.
I'm so sick of Messi, man.
Yeah,
he's gonna be the MVP this season, right? With the given, yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
Who, Messi?
Definitely Golden Boot winner, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
He won't retire until Miami wins the league.
That man gonna be 70 years old.
Success for next year's consistency. Yeah, I agree. We need consistency.
Yeah,
Consistency, man, in all aspects of life.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I want to ask y'all this right here. If you could only have one number 9, are you picking Ajiman or Toclomati, dude? That's a good one.
I think Trocomati, because I think he can drop in behind and create more than Ajiman. I think Ajiman is more of a ball over the top or a ball through, and he goes and finds the goal. I think Trocomati can drop back, create his own space, get the ball. 2 different strikers, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I would go with Trocomati, but size-wise, Ajiman's that guy.
Not sure if MLS is built for Pat. You know what I mean? Compared to like where he's at now.
Yeah.
I think it depends on just how you want to. I mean, there were definitely moments in this last series where it seemed like, hey, it would have been really useful to have Pat up top. I think there were times when New York found ways to kind of push Charlotte around a bit, and Charlotte couldn't get control of the game, and it would have been nice for them to have a little bit of a stronger outlet. I think there were times when Toclomati couldn't figure out a way around Thiago Martins that I think Patrick Agyemang would have done. I think he's just that kind of player who can ask a question of a center back that Toclomati can't. That being said, they have different traits. So it's like it depends on how you want to play. Like Patrick Agyemang isn't going to give you the dynamism that Toclomati can. So it's really, I think it comes down to how you want to play. And right now, it looks like for Charlotte, you want to play off of Zaha, and Toclomati in that situation would be the better option, right? So I think it just really depends on how you end up wanting to play. Agyemang looks like he's doing really well with what Derby County is wanting. So, it seems like even though I thought Charlotte FC fleeced him. Like, I was like, and I'm an Agyemang guy.
Oh, trust me.
But I was like, 8 million was not the range that I was thinking for him. And, but it seems like they found a way. They have a veteran striker to play in front of Agyemang, and they found a way to kind of still get him in the field for things and make it work where he can just use his physicality in and around the box, and he's dunking on people over there. So it really just depends on how you aim to play the game. Really, they both have traits that I would say are top notch, and so it's just like, do you want to play to use them to their strengths or not? And then you just got to pick between the two. I think there were moments definitely where you miss Agyemang a little bit in this series, but I think it's long run. If you want to keep playing with Toclomati, you're just gonna have to figure out another guy who can maybe go 1v1 with a center back. Who can do that? Is it then Zaha willing to do it and be the 1v1 guy? Because it doesn't, for me, what I saw from the New York series, I don't feel like Toclomati is necessarily the guy who can go 1v1 against the guy. It didn't seem like that was really his strength. So you just got to find another guy who can change the game up and do that.
You think if Charlotte could go back in time, they kind of hold off on the letting Agyemang go? He's going to go regardless, but waiting to the end of the season to let him go, or it was a move that needed to be done?
I think as soon as they weren't willing to pay, they were paying them peanuts. I think it was a wrap. I think as Ajiman had his valuation and his agent did a really good job of being like, this, no, his value is here. And I mean, clearly, Dean had said in the press, like, we thought we gave him a value that we thought was worth it, and like whatever that number is, but it was clearly significantly off because it sounded like they pretty much stopped negotiations. So I mean, they must have been hundreds of thousands of dollars off. If you just like pretty much stop negotiating, and it just like it sounded like negotiations just died. And so if that is the case, they just were the numbers were so far off. It's just like you're just no longer in the market. And so at that point, I mean, you got to give it to both because I mean, at the same time, if you're Ajiman, you're a Division III soccer player that is now has an opportunity to be a multi-millionaire. You have to take that chance. And so I don't think there is a way you keep him just because if Charlotte's not going to give him that opportunity, you have to go get it. You have to. I mean, because there's no guarantees in this life or in this sport. So when you have an opportunity to turn a Division III college career into a multi-million-dollar life, you got to do it.
That's right.
Absolutely, dude.
And the draw to play in Europe too, right?
Yeah, that's true.
100%. All of it. I mean, and now Derby's won like 5 in a row. They're like 9th or 10th. I mean, you never know. Maybe they sneak in the 6th seed and then they go on a magic run, do a Luton Town. You never know.
Yeah. It's not like they haven't been there before. So,
yeah.
Last one before we wrap it up. All the guys we've sold and come and gone, who's the one guy you can see coming back to Charlotte and finish his career? Malanda, Ajiman. What was that Spanish guy? Sergio Ruiz.
Yeah.
Anybody? Or nah, we haven't really.
Oh, you know who we're bringing back? What was he's a club legend, man. What is his name?
Riley McGree. What's his name? Riley.
All right. Club legend.
Bring him back. Doesn't play a game. Ends his career.
Statue outside the stadium. Yeah.
I'll say Vinny Mello.
There you go.
Vinny Mello.
That's another prop.
Yeah, that's when we lose Sarminti, though, man. He was Sarminti.
Hey, Daniel Forgo's Real. That's a good one.
Yeah, Rios is a good one. But no, I would bring back Sergio, man. I think Sergio would be a good one.
That'd be a good Westwood replacement. What's he doing?
I just don't. He's over in Spain, Granada or something, right?
Yeah. Was that the B League in Spain?
Oh, I don't know.
Not really sure.
I still follow him on Instagram. He seems to be doing pretty good.
Yeah, I could see Swiderski coming back. To be honest, I could totally see that. I would love
Swiderski to stay this season.
I
think it would have to come at a time when he's maybe not a DP anymore. I think that would be the situation potentially. Or you're just like you have so much. It's just a complete luxury buy. Or Zoran moves on, and you just have a whole completely different kind of situation with Charlotte FC.
Jorge, though, man, we'll never hear it from Jorge. It'll be continuous from Jorge about Swiderski.
Oh yeah, I know.
Hey, man, I just have to put him on mute.
I'm not saying I would necessarily love it, but I know, I know that Swiderski was a big fan of Charlotte, and so I think I'm just trying to also think of people that like really had a connection to Charlotte, because that would be the draw to bring him back. Otherwise, like, why would they even circle back in terms of like, why would they even think about it? And I feel like that's why Swiderski is like close to the top of my list, to be honest, just because I think of the players that have left, he probably has the strongest connection, where the fans have the strongest connection of missing him maybe missing them. All of that.
He's not allowed back, unfortunately.
I'm not gonna say anything on that. I'm just gonna bite my tongue and keep moving.
Him and Nuno Santos are not allowed within 100 feet of Uptown.
Yeah.
He'll get stopped by TSA on the way through.
Yeah.
He's like, "What you got there in that bag, sir?" No charges.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a hell of a season. We finished top 4. We went on a historic win streak. We lost against teams we shouldn't have lost. We had a ton of hamstring injuries. But
And we did. That's another thing we may want to upgrade on is the physios.
Yeah, man. What the?
Yeah.
100% on that. But we're here to enjoy this ride, and I think sooner or later we'll win something, and it'll be the best day.
It's the hope,
FC fans.
man. It's the hope that keeps you alive.
Dude, this
That's
year
true.
I was like, it would have been a dream for me. It would have been December 6th. It's my birthday. Charlotte at a final, dude. I'm talking about I would have get a tattoo of Charlotte. I would have gone crazy.
All right, now say that without crying, Brian.
No, we'll say it. Hey,
They tear up on us, man.
dude,
Right?
I love this team. When we beat Miami, my shirt
feel
came
that.
off.
I've
love
seen
this
that.
team.
I've seen that.
Love that,
I love
man.
this team. But with that being said, Brian, where can we find your content, brother?
Yeah, you can find me on X at Mauer Media. You can find all my written content at TopBin90.com. Also collegesoccernews.com. I'm all over the place right now.
Hell yeah, dude. If you need to know anything soccer, Brian is your
That's their
man, dude. Let him
encyclopedia
know.
right there,
Other way,
man.
Brian. Other way. There you go. That Brian. Yeah, dude. That is your go-to man. College soccer, MLS, any other league, hit them up. You also do that fantasy league with the Premier League. So
Right.
if y'all are down with doing that, hit him up, man. Hit him up. That stuff.
He's
I
an
know it can get
encyclopedia
fun.
of soccer. Lee, what about you, brother?
We're all at CLTFC Fan TV. Talking to JT today. Apparently, he's putting this big end of season video together with all the videos and clips and all that. He said it's going to drop tomorrow around 10, so we'll see.
Ooh, something
We'll
to look
hold-
forward
we'll
to.
hold
I'm
JT
off
accountable
tomorrow,
for that.
so.
I hold all that to JT. And
Hell yeah. That's the way I did. Let the tech side to David.
right, yeah, that's
What
it.
he said, Encyclopedia Bamtanica. Hell yeah, that's it right there. That's
I
your
might have to
boy.
join that.
That's awesome. I love that. Bro Fred's always got good comments.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for enjoying the show with us. It was a great conversation. Lee, Brian, David.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Well, we're going to take a little break because we consistently been pumping out these episodes every Thursday. Next time you see us is probably when we sign a prayer news. Until then, peace out.
Good night, fellas.
Good night,
Que
fellas.
estamos y no nos vamos.